Is there someone in your life that just seems to pride themselves in how passive aggressive and sarcastic they can be? This might be a friend, this might be a family member, this might be your partner, heck, it might even be you. In this video, we're going to talk about what passive aggressive sarcasm is, why people do it, and why it's problematic. Now, this is the first video in a three-part video series, so we'll cover the whys and what's really going on in the first one. In the second one, we'll talk about, well, how do you stop being passive aggressively sarcastic? And in the third video, we'll cover how to respond to someone who's being passive aggressively sarcastic if they're, someone that you're close with. Now, this is something that I have an embarrassing amount of experience with. Yes, I've dealt with my fair share of passive aggressive people in my life, but more importantly, I have also doled out my fair share of passive aggressive sarcastic comments. I have responded in this way an embarrassing amount of time in my life. But more recently, in the last few years, I actually started changing my behavior, and that was because of two people who I started spending more time with that would respond in this way, and I'll talk about it more in the third video, but they responded in this way that made me question, why am I behaving in this way, and thinking about, is there a better way to communicate? And they really empowered me in the way that they kind of intervened with this behavior. They really empowered me to start believing, yeah, I can be honest about the things that are really bothering me, and giving me and also knowing how to do so. So, speaking from personal experience here, just from receiving passive-aggressive sarcastic comments and witnessing them, and also doling them out, and then changing my behavior in a way that's way more productive in the long run. I'm not perfect. I still will say passive-aggressive things from time to time, but I spend a lot more time, and I feel a lot more confident in just being able to say what's really going on outright. So what is passive-aggressive sarcasm? Passive aggressiveness itself is being frustrated or angry or upset, but instead of directly telling somebody, you're showing them indirectly. There's a lot of different examples for this. There's the very well-known silent treatment. You can be patronizing, you can have backhanded compliments, but we'll talk about sarcasm here. And sarcasm isn't bad on its own, but when it's used in passive aggressiveness, it's basically saying something in a mocking way or being ironic as a way of showing that you're upset without actually saying that you're upset and without being direct. And you know it when you hear it, but I'll give a few examples. It's whatever, fine, I don't care, when clearly they care about something, or saying K in text when someone's upset about something. Fun, wow, sounds like fun, if you found out that you weren't invited to something and your friends hung out without you, or wow, big surprise when somebody's running late, or maybe they're seeing that guy again that you don't really like. Most of the time, people who are being passive-aggressively sarcastic make it very clear that they're upset. It's all about the tone. It's not what's being said. It's how it's being communicated. It's the tone, it's the body language, it's the eye roll. You know when someone is being sarcastic, but they're not being direct about what's really going on. So if this is such an annoying and ineffective way of communicating, why do people do it? Well, passive-aggressive sarcasm, passive-aggressiveness is a defense mechanism. It's feeling hurt, it's feeling angry, it's feeling rejected, ignored, disrespected, whatever. It's feeling hurt or angry, but also feeling like you can't do anything about it. You can't be honest about what's really going on. And that really stinks if you think about it. Anger is just hurt in disguise. Most of the time, people who are being passive-aggressive are showing that they're angry, but they're too afraid to actually share what's going on. They're too afraid to share that, their feelings have been hurt, or they feel rejected, or whatever happened. So it's a defense mechanism. It's feeling like you've been attacked, feeling like you've been hurt, like you've been angered, but not being able to say anything about it right away. This can come from three places. It can feel like it can come from a place of feeling unworthy. So you might not feel like you're worthy of having that conversation, of saying what's wrong. For example, if you are with somebody, if your partner just feels too good to be true, but they hurt your feelings, you're afraid of saying something that might stir the waters and make them leave. Or if you feel like you have a group of friends that you're really close with, and oh my gosh, this group of friends is too good to be true, then you feel like, well, if I say anything about why I'm actually upset, they might not think I'm cool, or they might reject me, or they might laugh at me. So it's feeling like you're not worthy of that friendship, that relationship, whatever it is, to say something and be honest when your feelings are hurt. It can also come from a belief that people are just not willing to change. So if you think that people are just the way they are, and that even if you told them what's really going on, they wouldn't respond anyway, like they wouldn't change their behavior, or they would just shrug you off, then yeah, you're not going to be direct. You're going to go, well, if nothing's going to change anyway, if I say something, why would I risk embarrassing myself by sharing my feelings and being vulnerable? And the third place that this might come from is just not having the tools to communicate any better way. I can speak from experience that if you watch your parents growing up acting in passive aggressive ways, and that's how they communicate with each other, or if this is how your group of friends just communicates with each other and nobody ever directly confronts each other about hurt feelings, or if this is just the way that you and your partner have always communicated, if this is what you see in the world, then it's no surprise that you're probably adopting the same tools of communication, even if they're not very effective, because you don't really see anything outside of that. This is the norm for everything else. And passive aggressive sarcasm, if you're here, you probably realize it's a problem. It's not helpful. And there's 3 reasons why it sucks, speaking from experience. 1, it really undermines your relationships. When you're sarcastic with someone, when you're not being direct with them about what's hurting your feelings, but you're clearly showing that your feelings are hurt or that you're upset, you're telling that person that you don't trust them enough to tell them what's really wrong, period. You're signaling to them that you just don't trust them to handle the situation. So you're just withholding that information because you don't think they're going to respond well. So it's undermining your relationship with that person. Second reason why passive-aggressive sarcasm sucks is it doesn't actually resolve the root issue. Most people don't respond to passive-aggressive sarcasm very well. They might shrug it off or ignore it or just kind of laugh awkwardly or roll their eyes, but really they don't. A lot of people are not very confrontational. So if you have these if you throw these indirect things out in the water, they're not going to grab it. They're just kind of going to wait for it to dissipate. So you don't end up, if somebody says something that you felt was disrespectful, you don't get an apology. If somebody didn't invite you to something and you expected them to, you don't get invited next time. If somebody is making you feel bad about yourself through their behavior, they're not going to change their behavior. So whatever issue that you might have, it's not going to get resolved. It's just all for naught. And the third problem, and this is the worst one, is it's damaging to your self-esteem. So whatever self-beliefs that you have that are causing you to behave in this way, they're just being reinforced over and over again. Every time you respond with passive-aggressive sarcasm, you're teaching yourself, yep, I'm not worthy of this relationship. Yep, I don't have the tools to actually communicate what I need. Nope, people are not willing to change. You're just stuck in this cycle of self-perpetuating belief because your action is leading to your belief about yourself and is leading to your action, and it just spirals. So it's hard to get out of. So on that very positive note, in the next video, I will talk about if this is resonating with you and you're someone like me who's been passive-aggressively sarcastic and feels like, okay, no, you know what? I deserve better. I deserve better for my relationships. I deserve to be a better person in my friendships. I deserve to just have my problems addressed instead of hiding them behind petty remarks. If that's you, go ahead and watch the next video, which is how to stop being passive-aggressively sarcastic. And if you're thinking about somebody who is passive-aggressive in your life and you want to know how to deal with them, and this made you think, wow, that really sucks to be in that position of having your feelings hurt but not being able to express them. How do I respond to someone who's acting in this way? Watch the third video in the series, which is how to deal with someone when they're being passive-aggressively sarcastic. If this video helped you out at all, if you've got any thoughts about this, please leave them in the comments below. If you've had the experience in the past of being passive-aggressive and then learning healthier communication strategies, leave it below. Let me know what you think. Same old YouTube stuff. Hit the like button if you like this. Subscribe if you want more personal development and relationship videos like this. And I'll see you in the next video.